Hi, I'm Mike Mulligan, working on Arkansas Nuclear One. You know, these guys, NRC, the NRC, OI, and Energy, they're so crooked it's pathetic. It's so crooked, and they know they can get away with anything, and honesty is just thrown out the door. You know, they follow the rules. They got these crooked rules, and if they just follow them, they think they're being honest, right? It is pathetic. Okay, so let's look at some of this. Remember I told you, right? January 9th, 2012, the licensee researched exercise drill documents in late 2011. And then remember I said, what the hell is going on with this big legal firm, Balch and Bingham of Birmingham, Alabama, LLP. So January 9th, right? And let's go see now. Remember I told you about that Fitzwater. Now it's that Fitzwater, the Fitzwater confirmatory order. That's what I was reading in A&O's docket just recently. I didn't have nothing to do, so I started to do some researching. So this is written on January 26, 2010. So remember January 9th, right? January 9th is when the investigation at A&O was beginning under fishy circumstances, right? The big lawyer business and all that sort of stuff, and it's fishy. It stinks to high heaven. Well, so here they're signing they've signed a consent order, a confirmatory order about, you know, they went through this A&R business, ADR business. It's just garbage. It's just garbage as far as you know. It's not going through the they got to go through essentially an agreement type of thing, and they're equal to partners. On one side you got the government, on one side you got energy, and they're equal partners disputing something, and you know, it's just garbage, and that type of thing. So, right, the enclosed confirmatory order is being issued to Energy Incorporated to confirm commitments made to the United States Regulatory Commission during a mediation session. Mediation session, the goddamn crooks, they were falsifying paperwork. Held on November 9th, 2011, right? And the mediation session was conducted upon Energy's request in response to the alternate, the blah blah blah. The NRC described these investigations and the apparent violations, some of which were determined to be willful again, in a letter to Energy on September 8th, 2011. And it happened between HB technicians between 2006 and 2009, right? These are all HB technicians. These guys had a host of them had falsified respirator mask. I mean, you learn how to you learn how to. You got straps, and you learn the right pressures. So when you're doing this, that's what they're teaching you to do. They say, okay, you got one strap under here, two up, one here, one about here on both sides, right? And you're fiddling around with these straps to get the right. You're trying to get the feel of the right pressure that you get a good seal. And I mean, that's what you're really trying to do. They don't give you different masks. This is to get you to feel, you know, to get used to feeling. Okay, you're leaking there, Mike. You're leaking out. And tighten up the mask here, loosen the mask there, business, and that's what you're doing. And on the other guy, and this one here, they were they falsified radioactive. Sampling. They're sampling. It's a culture of falsification all throughout Energy, and that's what it is. there were the containment sampling valves. They were supposed to have somebody behind them second checking to make sure those valves are closed, and you know, a policy of safety and stuff like that. And so that's that's what happened in Fitzpatrick in you know, and here we go, Arkansas Nuclear One, you know, post-accident sampling systems between December 14th and December 7th, 2 drills involving monitoring as recorded on blah blah blah. So they two drills. Supposedly they were probably just sampling, opening and sampling their containment just for the hell of it, you know, for the drills, and they didn't have somebody. Walk-through surveillance, humidity, faults array, and then a bunch of other. These are all HP. Health assist, the same thing that was going on in Fitzpatrick, exactly the same thing. So you see what's happening here between the OI, the NRC OI, and Energy, and the NRC and Energy. And the NRC is that they're fracturing this. They're making this. They're fracturing this story up and making it a lot less of a story than it should be. Than it could have. Let me tell you how it happened. What happened? There was a whistleblower at Fitzpatrick. He got fed up with the bullshit of Energy. He narked on these guys. Got him in trouble. Got this. You know, the bunch of them in trouble. Let's just see what the 4 fired and 37 people disciplined, right? 4 fired and 37 people disciplined. I'd love to see where them employees are today. I'd love to know where all them employees are today. They were going to find them big time. 4 fired, 37 disciplined at, and investigation at James Fitzpatrick nuclear plant found 4 workers who being fired and 34 being disciplined. A spokesman said, right? And they were talking about the NRC was gonna find the hell out of Energy, and so because it was willing, it was what do you call it? They were willingly disobeying the rules and falsifying documents and stuff like that. So out of that deal, they charged them with violating rules and stuff, and then Energy said, let's go to the ADR process, or whatever you want to call it, the mediation doohickey, right? And so out of that, they had an agreement that they were going to check the HP departments in all the plants, essentially. You know, the rest of the plants were going to have an investigation to see if they had similar falsification issues at other plants. And out of that, right, and just as they were completing this ADR processing and signing the paperwork, remember I said, just to be sure, they were signing that paperwork. This was dated to 26th, and when was, and so they were suspiciously on January 9th, 2012, you know, how they turn, whistly goddamn words, weaselly goddamn words, research exercise drill documents in late 2011. Then they retained that the scumbag lawyers and all that sort of stuff. So they were signing that agreement. They were in the process of signing that agreement. Energy knew what was going on since the late 2011, right? They knew they were in big trouble and all that sort of stuff. And that's kind of set up for that kind of set you up for snooping around and seeing what was going on in Arkansas Nuclear 1 and stuff. That's what I mean. You know how they weaselly said that word? You know them words there. What was it? The licensee research exercise drill documents in late 2011. You know, it's all probably the lawyers are sitting there saying, you know, we're going to go through an ADR process and all that sort of stuff on this guy with A&O and stuff like that. It's going to be a pain in the ass. We're going to eat up so much of your NRC resources. Why don't you just make come to an agreement with us right now and Weasley said a couple of Weasley words and you won't have to go through everything. We won't you know, make you spend so much money. So, and like I said, and so they separated these issues, like, you know, whistleblower caused the Fitzpatrick, the firing of 4 people, and finding out the culture of falsification of many people in A&R. They separated that out with A&O's cultural falsification. Like, you know, they're not connected, and they're exactly connected and stuff. And so, like I said, you know, that lawyerly group there, and that's why, right? Fitz, the NRC inspected it on their own, and then they let probably along with, but the NRC and the OI was probably in there before the NRC was. The Energy was doing the investigation on what happened, right? Because they knew that these guys were going to ended up going to court. And so this guy is radically different, you know. The NRC says the NRC says Arkansas self-identified this, and so we're going to let them do the kickoff investigation, and then we're going to come in after them and basically look a little bit and agree with the outcome of this independent lawyer business, the cleaners and stuff like that. You see how crooked these guys are? So, you know, instead of having one report saying, okay, there was a culture of falsification at Fitzwater that the whistleblower initiated, and that cascaded into finding problems at A&O, and then putting them two together and saying that Energy's as a whole probably has, in all the RP departments, and they're emergency planners and stuff like that. They're all been taught how to falsify documents, and then you say to yourself, okay, well, and then the lead up to the statter fall and stuff like that, and with such a uncorrected culture of falsification, is there a wonder that there wasn't a bigger issue than dropping a 600-ton cast 600-ton statter? Is there? Does anybody say to themselves, you know, they're damn lucky that they only killed one person in this thing. They're damn lucky they didn't destroy their energy as a whole, and they're getting really close. The way these guys are all playing it, the way the NRC, OI, and the NRC and energy, they're getting really close to getting away with shit time after time again. And there's going to be one time here where it's going to come to an end, and they're either going to get into a big accident or a big scandal, and they're going to wreck their company. They're going to wreck the credibility of energy nuclear. That's what we're coming down to, because everybody's given, the NRC's given energy a break. Time and time again, they're giving them a break. Just fill out these paperwork and tell us when to close our eyes, type of attitude of paper whipping everything and not creating a change of behavior and stuff. And it's astonishing. And so you see, this is the Fitzpatrick plant falsification with respirators and sampling valves is directly linked to the A&O falsification case last year, 2012, beginning in around January 9th. They're directly linked to each other. And it's a systemic and systematic culture of falsification. It's the way the Palisades, it's the way energy does business. And so just to go back now, let's just go back to that. Okay, now we're going back to the remember I talked EA10 -90-090 and 10-248 and 11-106, but those are all separate investigations at energy, at Fitzpatrick and stuff. So this is what they. I hate the way they have these consent and hearing waiver, whatever that is. There's my buddy John. The licensee shall implement and maintain a respiratory protection program that includes fit testing before the first field use, not to exceed 1 year. And no objects, facial hair, and any conditions interfere with the seal or valve functions under the control. All right, here's one. Procedures shall be established, implemented, and maintained for the applicable procedures recommended in a regulatory guide 1.33. Identifies radiation protection procedures for control of radioactivity, for limiting material release to the environment and limiting personal exposure. Section H2B of the RP identifies radiation protection and surveillance tests that should be covered by the written procedures, right? All this stuff that they're talking about Fitzpatrick in this business, and it all relates to, they were doing an investigation on all plants to make sure that their HP, they had adequate HP procedure. Obviously, they didn't. In the thing, they didn't have adequate procedures. And, that gives them the excuse. Oh, we didn't have a procedure. Well, of course you didn't have a procedure, because if you had a procedure, we were violating it, and it would cost us a lot of money and time. And so, but if we had procedures, you could ding us on regulation. So the easiest thing to do is not have any procedures on it, and that way way there, hey, you know, we get one shot, one free shot. You can call us on it once, and then we'll have to write the procedures. So, okay. Fitzpatrick procedure RESP-3-1, drywall continuous atmospheric monitoring system. RP revision 18-27 provides instructions for operation and calibrations of General Atomics electronic system drywall continuous monitoring system. It specifies, see, the NRC gave a warning. It specifies that after valve manipulation, a second individual must verify correct the valve position. Attached 1 documents weekly data and requires initial and signatures from verification of independent manipulations during these checks. And so, right after Fitzpatrick, they mysteriously find the exact same thing, but in the emergency plan side of the deal. But actually, HB technicians who are running the radiological part of the emergency plan, you know, they're testing for it. And these guys were going up to the atmospheric sample guy, taking a sample of the atmosphere for the hell of it, right? For testing and to make sure that the guys knew what they were doing. And then they were falsifying. Somebody came in after them and verified that they shut that valve. They did the exact same thing at ANO as this. They vilified. They violated the. I mean, that's what happened here. They violated a confirmatory order, and that's how Weasley the confirmatory order is, right? They can override it. All they have to do is get the OIG to figure out a way to disconnect him by fraud and falsification with the OI and the NRC itself. That's how they get around calling energy on violating a confirmatory order. This is what it is. They violate this confirmatory or this Fitzpatrick confirmatory order as far as making requirements. This made a set of requirements on the rest of Energy's plans. That's what this did. And then a year later, less than a year later, they find out of nowhere and mysteriously find a senior emergency plan coordinator doing the exact same thing with the valves, not have. I mean, you know. And then all these insiders, not the OI is involved in this, right? Because they framed this thing as to be separated. The NRC is in it. They all got their hands dirty, and we're supposed to, listen to these guys who are in the conspiracy to describe what's going on. This is insanity. This is so bad. The system is so bad, and it's corrupting so many people, and we're getting so little information out of it. And these guys, all of them, feel like they can, look at things in a narrow framework, right? Intentionally look at a narrow framework, describe these things in a narrow framework, so there's no connection. This is corruption of the highest level. It is everybody else. I mean, all the employees, in the know, they're all talking about this, and they don't know what's going on and stuff like that. And they're saying, look at this, what's going on? The IO is in bed with Energy, and they're minimizing the behavior of Energy right in front of our eyes. How can we ever trust a DOI or the Office of, and then you find out most of this stuff, right? You have to have, as far as a whistleblower, you have to have triplicate evidence, and most of these OI investigations end up with you can't find sufficient proof that an employee, a whistleblower employee, the NRC doesn't. Can't find enough evidence to accuse a plant management with harassing them, intimidating them, and stuff like that. This is just so bad This is just so bad that like I said, if this was a year ago when this first came out, and they said, "Oh man, we don't have separate Fitzpatrick issues. We don't have separate A&O issues. We got problems in energy plant, and there's serious cultural issues, dangerous as hell cultural issues, and you can expect." One, we don't know what's going on because they're all goddamn liars, and number two, you can expect a big accident is banging around the corner that'll knock your socks off and stuff. But they killed this guy. They killed this guy and injured all these people and stuff like that. They killed him. Manslaughter. It is worse than manslaughter. So I can't call them assassination, but you can call it manslaughter. They were recklessly indifferent to human life, recklessly indifferent to destroying energies, recklessly indifferent to destroying the credibility of energy itself. This is so awful, and like I said, a lot of the players are looking over this, and they can understand what's been done here. Like I explained with separating A&O and Fitzpatrick, and minimizing what happened here, and essentially killing one of their employees in a manner of manslaughter. It takes your breath away how big this is. I just can't believe it. It specifies that the valve manipulations, a second individual must verify correct position. How come they couldn't, and remember I said it was going on for 4 years, at least 4 years this was going on longer than the falsification at A&O was going on longer than when they caught Fitzpatrick doing that. See, look at this. The same thing as A&O. Contrary to the above, on 11 occasions between September 2007 and 2009, those valves, the chem valves, were manipulated. Independent verification of the position was not performed by a second radiation technician. You just got to wonder what's going on there as far as falsification. You can't as far as a signature on a document, you can't trust anybody with signing documents over something like this. When you catch this amount of people doing that across 2 plants, and then you sit there and say, oh well, and then a drop statter that crushed somebody. This is awful. Right? And then they're talking about, you got a licensing condition must be maintained by the license shall be complete and accurate in all material effects, right? So then they're setting it up that, you had a host of employees at Fitz that didn't keep your licensee, and who cares, once this happens, who cares what an individual does? Then I mean, as far as a evacuation emergency planner, who cares? Once this happens, who cares if you had a bad apple emergency plan? You were warned once, right? And who cares what your your low-level employees are doing and stuff like that? If they get caught falsifying something, because you're supposed to have the processes in there that the positive process in there that you would catch it and stop it immediately. And so here it's gone on for another year, right? Mostly it's gone on for 4 years and stuff like that. And you see what I'm saying? Then it's on management's, Maybe at sometimes you can blame the employee, especially if he does it in a darkened corner or nobody can see him, right? But this thing is kind of says you have a problem with your culture, a large amount of employees across 2 plants, and now it's up to you to stop it, right? If you can't stop it, then you're just as bad as your employees are. Respirator fit, right? See, contrary, you know, the respirators and it's awful. And manipulating drywall continuous valves, it's just awful. The confirmatory order that blew by both the OI, the NRC itself, and Energy. The confirmatory order is a result of agreement during an alternate dispute resolution mediation conducted on November 9th. You know, escalated enforcement action. Didn't we see that in A&O? And what did they do? You know, what did they do as far as escalated enforcement action? They just threatened them, and then they folded. And now they're got another enforcement action hanging around for a year. And this guy even went to jail. That did it over there at Fitz. Right, one of them went to jail, or were fined, or whatever you have. Right, Energy and NRC and Energy agreed on the facts set forth on September 8, 2011. The NRC agrees that Energy, upon receiving this information from the NRC regarding these issues, immediately conduct a comprehensive investigation into these issues. Right? The NRC, on the beginning of Fitz, the NRC says you keep your dogs away from this investigation until we get done. On Fitzpatrick, it's just they spun it around. They said. Energy said, you keep NRC, you keep your dogs away from the investigation until we complete ours, or we'll sick our lawyers on you. The Energy also ensured affected staff were properly retested for respirator fit and terminate no previous radiological uptakes for the time period in question. Well, you know, how can you prove that respirator was leaking? You just got to guess. I mean, the best you can do is guess. In addition, the NRC acknowledged that prior to the ADR system, this is Fitz, Energy took a number of corrective actions in response to the violations identified at the Fitzpatrick site as to preclude similar violations in the future. These actions include address individual accountability. What about A&O? Complete disciplinary reviews, actions against the individuals. But didn't do shit to you know. They're all talking to each other, and they all have they're all doing they had seminars out of Fitzpatrick at all the plants. Didn't do shit at the A&O. Right. Didn't straighten that mess out. Conducted a series of station and small group meetings between senior managers and staff to reinforce station expectation with regard to raising issues by available station processes and procedures. You know, 4 years at A&O this was going on. Where was all the good-hearted people that have a conscience over there that should have found that many? Increased management oversight at RP activities as corrective actions implemented. You know, that's at Fitz, right? Extended condition reviews, right? Do you see that at Fitz? I mean, do you see that at A&O? No. Extended condition, extended cause, you see that? they had it at Fitzpatrick, you know, if they had an extent of condition cause, they would have found out that there were serious management issues at Arkansas Nuclear, and they would have prevented that. They would have been a lot more careful with that 60-ton stator, right? They would have said that number one, we got to go above and beyond the requirements of the procedures, right? It's safety we're after, not procedure adherence. Actions to identify the extent that procedure compliance, safety, culture issues may exist at other areas. That worked at A&O, huh? Did that work there? Got one guy dead. Completed focus crew assessments regarding department outside RP, performing extended condition review by an independent reviewing prevent an extent of condition review by an independent reviewer regarding activities outside RP. Yeah, they're supposed to bring in big dogs at Fitzpatrick and find all their sins and correct them. I don't know if they did that yet. It'd be interesting to see. I know we know that there's a lot of antis at the gates trying to shut down Fitzpatrick, right? That's the kind of issues that inflame the antis and stuff like that. Completed an independent safety cultural assessment. They've done this, the boron at Fitzpatrick, the boron issue at Palisades. They had big issues with falsifying security issues at Palisades. Another safety cultural assessment. Vermont Yankee, another fleet-wide safety assessment. Right? They all find nothing wrong with the safety of culture until they squash a guy with a 600-ton stator. Right? Completed corrective action affecting the energy nuclear fleet. Completed safety culture assessment at each of Energy's 9 commercial nuclear plants in 2009. Right? 2009. Is it 4 years later? 4 years later? Not even 4 years later. 3 years later, they squashed somebody at A&I. They smoked the 24-year-old man. And his nice family and stuff like that. Completed safety culture assessment at each of Energy's 9 commercial nuclear. So they'll do another safety evaluation, a worthless safety evaluation after this is over with, and they'll give them a green light, and who knows what's next. Conduct training for Energy's over and over again, right? The boron issue at Palisades. Oh, the security issue at Palisades. That was a falsification issue. The control room guys looking at the internet in Riverbend, the intimidating engineer and not meeting the QA requirements fleet-wide and stuff like that. How come these guys are a rogue outfit breaking the rules and falsification and falsifying documents all over the place, and the NRC can't control them? Conducting training for Energy nuclear fleet personnel, including personnel at Fitzpatrick, on the requirements of 1050-5 and 10 CFR 50.5 and 50.9. Supervised and above, as well as non-supervisors, have responsibilities for communicating with the NRC, receive instructor-based training. Others receive computer-based training. Provide training to detect and prevent allegations based on requirements to supervisors at Pilgrim and other, right? Obviously, that whistleblower and employees must have complained that they had intimidation issues. It's a fleet-wide issue, intimidating people that don't want to, run with the corrupt culture of energy and stuff like that. So they intimidate them. So this is a repeated nature over and over again at all of their plants. Palisades, Vermont Yankee, Pilgrim, Fitzpatrick, A&O, Riverbend, the whole bunch of them. How many times did they hear this? I can tell you right now, the employees are making jokes out of how many times they heard about fleet-wide safety. Probably as they're breaking more rules. Energy Chief Nuclear Officer sent, what's his name, Heron? Hey, Mr. Heron. He's not there no more. Energy's Chief Nuclear Officer sent a message to the entire fleet of the entire energy nuclear workforce via electronic mail, informing them of the underlying misconduct related to the violations and stressing the importance of integrity. Listen to this bullshit. Listen to this nice, pretty words, right? A dead guy squashed with a 600-ton stator. Listen to these pretty words. As part, pretty words. As part of the settlement agreement in principle, Energy agreed to take additional actions to ensure the effectiveness of corrective actions previously taken, and to ensure the lessons learned from these events is extended to the energy fleet and to the industry. This is the same thing repeated over and over again. God, let me tell you, the boron issue, the security issue, the DC issue, basically the same thing. Fleet safety training that doesn't do nothing. Happy tunes. It's like a checklist. Oh, I made a check on this one thing here, and that check is the proof that I did what I was supposed to do. Energy will review its existing fleet-wide general employee training to ensure adequate coverage of the lessons learned from this event that formed the basis for the confirmatory order regarding both procedural compliance and requirement to maintain complete and accurate records in accordance with 10 CFR 50.9. Right? Right? Guy dead because of that. A big falsification issue with the emergency planner. And here we go. Look at this garbage. Look at this utter, totally garbage. That pretty words. An agreement between lawyers, right? Energy will prepare a case study about the event that formed the basis of the CO confirmatory order, highlighting the role of those who had the opportunity to detect, report, and prevent the misconduct, as well as on the actions of the individuals who engaged in the misconduct. Now they're going to have one about a dead guy, right? Now they're going to have the same case study. You're going to have a new case study about a dead guy and poor safety attitude at the A&O. And the other issues, and they're gonna, I don't know, probably one plant down for a year, the other plant still down, maybe 3 week or shut, or I mean, they're just wasting resources. These guys are wasting energy resources, energy's corporate resources, and they're wrecking the integrity is seen in the population and the regulators' eyes. It is so bad. We're sitting around a big accident. We're sitting around an accident that is going to shake us to our core in the United States here. It's been building and building, right? And now you got this funding business in natural gas, and these guys not having enough money to keep their plants in good shape and stuff like that, and then everybody lying. The IO, the inspection, the enforcement office. The guys that I talked to with my 2.206s. It is horrendous. If you understood any about these rules and stuff, well, study about the event that formed the basis of the CO, highlighting the role of those who had the opportunity to detect, report, and prevent the misconduct, as well as the actions of individuals who engage in misconduct. The site vice president or general manager of plant operations at each of Energy's 9 commercial nuclear power plants will present the case study during the two statewide meetings to ensure that both day and night shift personnel personnel have the opportunity to attend. Energy will complete these presentations within 100 days of the date of the CEO. Energy will make the case study available for the NRC review before conducting these station-wide meetings, right? So how well did that work for you, Energy? How well did that work for you? With the damage at ANO and what was it? Eight were injured. One was dead. One had pretty serious injuries, and so they're all hiding it behind the sheets, right? They don't have the courage to talk about their sins, right? They're all hiding it, hiding their sins and stuff like that, and that just makes it worse. It just makes it worse. Then they hide it more and they get away with it, and then the next thing you know, we wake up one day and we have a Boston massacre. Oh, here's a strong one for you. I mean, this is in concrete. This is God itself talking. Within 90 days of the date of the CEO, Energy will add a commitment to the commitment tracking system to maintain the safety culture. To maintain the safety culture monitoring process as described in NEI 0907, fostering a strong nuclear safety culture or similar process as at Energy's 9 commercial. Hey, God, the NEI. The NEI. If God says it, it must be true. Within 90 days of the if they would have done with something at ANO, there wouldn't be a dead person, and there wouldn't be a destroyed plant and a severely damaged other plant. If they would have really taken this to heart, right, and changed the culture and exposed everything, within 90 days of the date of the CEO, the confirmatory order, Energy will review the procedures ENQV-136 nuclear safety culture monitoring, which implements the safety culture monitoring process in NEI, fostering strong nuclear safety culture, determine whether the procedure, if the procedure had been in effect at the time of the violation, would have detected the safety culture weakness that led to the misconduct that formed the basis of the CEO. You think there's something wrong with the drop? You think there's something wrong with the safety culture with the drop statter? You think it was a one-off? That there wasn't a safety culture issue and widespread falsification and widespread not following the procedures, or better yet, not having the procedures so you can get dinged on, violating the procedures. You don't think that's involved with this death here? You people are crazy. If the review indicates that the implementation of the procedures may not have detected a weakness, Energy will develop enhancements to the NEA process, that would improve the ability to detect those weaknesses and revise Energy's procedure accordingly. Do you think that Energy had the right procedures on lifting that statter and moving it and checking everything and all that sort of stuff? You think Energy had the right safety culture that was overseeing the statter move? You think so? Energy will complete the procedure if needed within 120 days of the completion of the review. Additionally, nice words, but that's to make the outsiders feel happy. It's to set up the idea that things are changing, and and what it really does is hide more what's going on. The public can't see what's really going on. So it's an attempt by the OI and the NRC to hide what is really going on behind the scenes, and continue to allow this break of having poor procedures and not caring a lick about procedures, culture, and having a system of intimidating employees and stuff like that. It's awful. You wonder why. You just wonder. No wonder why there ain't more dead people at the energy plant. Oh, see that it's corrupted. These guys corrupted the whole goddamn system. Within 360 days of the date of the CEO, Energy will deliver. I'd like to see that presentation. Within 300 days of the date of the CEO, Energy will deliver a presentation to regional utility groups, RUG, or plant managers meeting at Region 1, 2, 3, and 4, which will discuss the events that led to the CEO, the lessons learned and actions taken. Are they going to have one for the dead man too at A&O? If any of the RUGs or plant manager meeting schedules do not support completion of this action, Energy will conduct the regional administration, will contact the regional administrator, Region 1, to provide notice and resolve the scheduling conflicts, right? You think that whole culture thing worked because of Fitzpatrick with the and later on the business with A&O's falsification issues? You think it worked? Within 360 days of the date of the CEO, Energy will develop an assessment plan and conduct an assessment consistent with the plan of the RP department at 9 Energy commercial nuclear power plants, right? The same department that was caught up in the scandal at A&O in the beginning of 2012. Did they catch it? Did they catch it? See, they may, like I told you, they may believe instead of this wasn't all connected to a pattern of cultural falsification, right? The NRC allowed them to make believe that A&O and Fitzpatrick and Palisades and Riverbend and they're all separate issues. You can't look at them as a pattern of energy misconduct. It is so. This is how the industry buys off the NRC. Within 30 days of completion of all the actions described in item 4AF, Energy will send the NRC a letter confirming the Commission that all actions were completed to facilitate NRC confirmatory reviews. You know what? If the NRC and the OGI had any guts, and they wanted to change minds and attitudes, the NRC would have an investigation on the NRC confirmatory reviews. You know, the NRC must have reviewed the actions of the NRC, must have thought they were sufficient at points. Well, why wasn't? What was missing in the NRC that they would accept those? Accepting the reviews were safe for Energy. You know, essentially, the NRC is responsible for that guy's death at A&O because they didn't do their jobs. Energy agreed to notify the senior resident inspectors at each of the Energy sites regarding the dates and times of the site-wide case study presentation, described in item 4, which is respect. Right? Right, so they go to an AMR process. Hey, Happy Land, you know, the ADR, they'll be heading to ADR and they'll drag it out for 5 years and everybody will forget about it, right? So here they go. As well as additional, you know, so they did all these, they wrote all this document here, right? Pretty document that didn't do nothing. And so, because you wrote up there and you petted the heads of the NRC guys and made them feel good and stuff like, as well as the additional action described in item 4B, which will be conducted at their respective sites. In light of the actions, the actions, you know, and they talked to all the different RUG people and they had NRC regional meetings and local meetings and stuff. In light of the actions that took on noted in item 3, as well as additional actions Energy committed to as described in item 4 and 5, the Energy agreed not to issue a civil penalty for the violation that are subject to this AER. And that's a pattern of the agency. You know, get them in the ADR our process. We're sick and tired of listening to these guys, and we're sick and tired of all these big lawyers that we have to deal with, and they eat up the NRC's legal processes. So just, we agree with you, you know, right? Agreed not to issue a civil penalty for willfully, and I consider it Fitzpatrick and especially A&O a willfully allowing the falsification of documents, and willfully not meaning the intent of the Fitzpatrick confirmatory order. You know, the NRC should have a investigation that says, you know, what do they call that? A case study on this issue between Arkansas. I mean, between Fitzpatrick and Arkansas, and say, well, how did our confirmatory order system of enforcement, how did that fail us on leading us down the path where energy ends up dropping a 600-ton statter and killing and maiming, they killed one and maimed a few other employees. How did our failure in the NRC set this up? You know, if the NRC cared about human life and cared about employees, and besides their little careers and their little families and their new cars and their vacations and, you know, their position and all that sort of stuff, that's what they would do. They would have an outside agency, an outside group come in and do that kind of investigation. How did we fail the industry by not knowing how endemic the falsification issue and the poor culture at energy, and how in God's name did we not correct it and make sure it was corrected? How in God's name can we consider ourselves a part of the United States government, and we see all this sort of stuff that's flying around us, and we can't control these utilities? Why do we tolerate not having the appropriate rules from Congress and stuff like that? You know, within, I went all over that. I find that energy's commitment as set forth in Section 5 are acceptable and necessary, and concluded that these commitments to public and health safety are reasonably assured. In viewing the foregoing, I've determined that public health and safety requires that energy commitments be confirmed by this order. Based on the above and the consent, this confirmatory order is immediately effective upon issuance. Right? Who's addicted to this one? Sign this one. Rug. Region 1 administrator. Who's a Region 1 administrator, huh? Look at this crap. This is an April Fool's joke. The NRC Region 1 and Regional Administrator may relax or rescind any of the above conditions upon demonstrated by energy of good cause. It doesn't say, you know, if what happens if conditions upon demonstration, conditions are not demonstrated by energy of good cause. What if they, you know, they just kept their behavior just getting, you know, they didn't even consider that might be an option, right? They only consider that energy is going to get better. I mean, just the whole idea, you know, you give one or two. It's either one or two. One, they might get better. Two, and two, they might get worse. And this is what we'll do to them if they get worse. Yeah, it's on the public website. Oh, I got a big digital signature. Yeah, oh yeah. Holy shit, it might be in the docket. Just want to see who's assigned by. Bill Dean, Region 1 Dickhead of the Week. Bill Dean, you, by signing that order and not staying with it, you caused the death of that guy in the dismemberment or whatever you want to call it with the other employee. You directly caused that because you weren't under control. You didn't make energy abide by the confirmatory order. Man, this has gone on way longer. They all do. Thank you. And thank you. I won't be able to sleep tonight either.